This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Monday, October 24. In Squiz Kids Today, Lismore in flood firing line again, whale rescue in Canada, mixed fortunes for Aussie sport, and Tay-Tay breaks the internet. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
Stop me if you've heard this before, but large swathes of New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria and Tasmania spent much of the weekend battling rising floodwaters as a huge band of wet and wild weather swept the eastern half of our nation. Yesterday alone, there were more than 120 flood warnings in place across New South Wales. And yes, if it seems like this is happening a lot, that's because it is. And there's no one that knows that better than the residents of Lismore in the Northern Rivers region of New South Wales, who were last night once again told to prepare for floods, with more than 150 mils of rain forecast for the region. If it floods in Lismore, it will be the third time this year. The northern New South Wales town of Moree, meanwhile, and its 7,000 residents were ordered to evacuate over the weekend as rivers there broke their banks. A shout out too to Squiz Kids along the mighty Murray River in Victoria, who were yesterday watching and waiting nervously to see whether floodwaters there were going to break the flood walls that residents had spent much of last week hurriedly building. Alright, La Nina, enough already. We get it. You like rain, but seriously, haven't you got somewhere else to be? Hands up if any of you out there are mad keen gamers. Yeah, I thought as much. Your Minecraft, Roblox and NBA 2K is about to get a whole lot faster after work was completed yesterday on an undersea cable from Western Australia to the Middle East. The 9,800-kilometre cable lies on the ocean floor, 2 kilometres below the surface, and has a capacity of 50 terabits, meaning gamers, YouTubers, researchers, financial institutions, you name it, will all be able to share a massive amount of data at a tenth of the current speed. I wonder if it means my Disney Plus will stop buffering.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Canada, where wildlife rangers have pulled off a remarkable whale rescue. A humpback whale became entangled in fishing ropes and was spotted dragging the fishing gear, including a couple of boys, for kilometres and kilometres through the water. By attaching a satellite tracking device to the fishing ropes and then following the whale and its friends on a 2-hour wild whale chase, which is kind of like a wild goose chase but with whales, the rangers managed to get the whale to execute a nifty open-mouthed backflip which set the ropes free. The whale was last seen swimming happily away with its friends, who had stayed by its side the whole time. How good are whales? And yes, of course, I've stuck a link to the rescue operation in today's episode notes.
Sport time.
And it was a weekend of mixed fortunes for Australian sport after our men's National Rugby League team wiped the floor with Scotland in the World Cup, and the Wallaroos booked themselves a spot in the quarter-finals, but our T20 men's cricket team copped a walloping from New Zealand. In England, the Kangaroos cemented their position as favourites in the Rugby League World Cup at the weekend by thrashing Scotland 84 points to 0. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Across the ditch in New Zealand, the Wallaroos, our women's national rugby union team, sailed into the Rugby World Cup quarter-finals there, beating Wales by 13-7. Go, you good things. While in Sydney, the Kiwis got their revenge, and then some, when the Black Caps, New Zealand's T20 men's cricket team, flogged the Aussies by 89 runs. It was a stellar performance by our Cuzzy Bros, who pulled off their biggest ever T20 victory over Australia. What does T20 mean? It means both teams get 20 overs to hit as many runs or claim as many wickets as they can. Australia next face Sri Lanka in Perth on Tuesday, and will need to pull their green and gold socks up if they want to make the semis.
Pop Culture Corner.
Someone who had an altogether more successful weekend than the Australian men's cricket team was a certain pop star by the name of Taylor Swift. Amid a storm of hype and a global wave of anticipation, the American singer-songwriter released a brand new album on Friday, and within 24 hours it had broken the all-time record for the most streamed album in a single day in Spotify history. Wow! The previous record was held by Bad Bunny, who clocked up 183 million streams in a 24-hour period. And the achievements didn't stop there for Tay-Tay. The lead track on her new album, Midnights, a song called Anti-Hero, had its own good day at the office, chalking up an impressive 17,390,000 streams. And the Swiftie world domination plans roll on.
Newshounds.
Today marks the start of Global Media Literacy Week, when a spotlight is shone on the importance of doing what Squizzy the Newshound tells us to do every time he pops his head into Squiz Kids HQ, namely to stop, think and check anytime we come across anything on the internet that looks, as my son Flynn would say, a little bit sussy. And to mark this important week, we're rolling out our own classroom resource to teach you lot how to recognise misinformation when you come across it on the internet. It's called Newshounds. It's an 8-part podcast and video and accompanying activity booklet affair, built like a board game, in which you join Squizzy the detective dog as he sniffs out fishy stories on the internet. It's fun, and for a limited time it's free and available to all classrooms now. Just get your teacher to pop on over to newshounds.squizkids.com.au or hop in via our website or jump into the link in today's episode notes. There are badges to be won, games to be played and certificates to be earned, making sure that by the end you're all fully fledged newshounds, just like Squizzy. Well, what are you waiting for? Get busy already. Squizzy is standing by.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What's the name of the Australian women's rugby union team? Yeah, that's right, they're the Wallaroos. Question number 2. In which country did rescuers just free a humpback whale tangled in fishing line? Yeah, that's right, it was in Canada. Question number 3. Which pop singer has just broken streaming records with the release of her new album? Yeah, you got it. It was Taylor Swift.
Shout-outs.
It's October 24, 61 days till Christmas. But you know who, other than my daughter Rosie, is counting. Today also marks the start of Diwali, the Festival of Lights, in the Hindu, Jain and Sikh faiths. Happy Diwali! It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Sia from Caringbah South, Oliver from Craigburn, Ella from Montmorency, Xavier from St Leonard's, Oliver from Glebe, Jackson from Balcombe Hills, Elsie from Walkerville, and Aaron, who's listening all the way over there in Burnsville, Minnesota. Go the Timberwolves! And a belated birthday shout-outs go to Stella from Vista, Sophie from Deniliquin, and Evie, who's listening all the way over there in Totnes, England. And classroom shout-outs today go to Class 3F and Mr. Fife at the Southport School, Class 3C and Miss Timpani at Melton Primary School in Wodonga, Class 6D with Mrs. Gillett and Mr. Booker at the Tellera Public School, and Class 5B and Ms. Hesketh at Middle Harbour Public School. And finally, a special shout-out from Ms. Garbin's Year 2-3 class at Meriden College in WA. I have it on very good authority, that is from Amanda, that you have a very lovely teacher. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout-out, or if you're after a classroom shout-out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.